One last time, welcome back to the last Hints and Theories video of season 22. Here we go. Welcome back to a new video and also to the last video of season 22. Today we are going to talk about those hidden hints that were revealed in the MolTalk, and we are also talking about that mask eye hint for one last time and about some information Everon gave us. But before we start with that, I want to tell you that I will put the link of the MolTalk in the info box. If you have a look at it and if you have a question about something they talked about because you can't understand it, then just leave a comment and I will try to explain you that in English. I just can't retell you the whole MolTalk here, but there were some interesting things about probable mole actions the candidates did, and well, they asked them some questions, and maybe if you just have a look at it and have a question, then I can try to answer that. But first things first, congratulations to all of you who have figured out who the mole is this season. I know that some of you were really deep into Everon tunnels for weeks, so really congratulations to that. Now off to what Everon told us, and the first thing I thought could be interesting for you is actually something that was highly discussed, and that is the question whether or not Everon is afraid of water. And it turns out that he is not afraid of water. He actually likes swimming. He doesn't like to go into very deep water, but is not in general afraid of it. I also think the Molenjager on Instagram figured it out some weeks ago. He was also deep in an Everon tunnel and he had some photos of Everon in water or close by water. Another thing that he told us was that he doesn't like sheep. So if you spotted anything during that sheep task, maybe something weird that you couldn't really get an explanation for, maybe that is the explanation then. And he also talked about the mole action that he's the most proud of, and that was the one in the last task. So in that spy task in the House of Leaves, as you probably remember, there were photos on the ground, or at least we saw one very important photo on the ground, and it turned out that Everon was the one who let those photos fall down, and he was so proud of it simply because he knew that Kim Lian and Frisia both were on his track and were watching him very closely, and this is why he found it so difficult to mole at all, because they were watching him so closely. And in the end he managed to mole in that situation, and that was why he's so proud of it. Now off to the hidden hints. I know you've been waiting for that. And I have to say, some of those hidden hints were figured out during the season, and we've also talked about some of them. The first one actually is a bit, well, difficult, to be honest. If you would have come up with that hint, then I would have probably not believed it. But see for yourself. I'm talking about that money hint. Yes, you probably remember that at the end of task 1 in episode number 1, Rick said that there was a hint hidden on some of those bills they got. And it turned out that the hint was hidden on the 100 € bill. And that task was called Aftrufen, and the candidates were separated in two groups, either Trufen or Aftrufen. And on that bill was the word Trufen written. So actually Trufen, then the number 22, and then the mole. And now the hint is that from the word Trufen you can form the word Everon. The problem with that hint is that you have the T from Trufen left over. And that was also mentioned during the MolTalk. I think Sahil mentioned that. And Everon then explained that the T belonged to the 22. To be honest, I have not seen anyone who had figured that one out. Tell me if you had figured it out, and we go on with the next hidden hint. There are some more hidden hints related to that first task in the first episode, and this one is one that was highly discussed because before the task started, all the candidates had a little conversation with Rick, and he told all of them that the mole had put them into a group, either the group Trufen or Aftrufen. But there was one person to whom Rick did not say that, and that person was Everon. And it makes sense, since the mole had put them into groups, everyone would know in which group he himself is. So no need for Rick to tell him that. The third hidden hint has to do with, let's call it, Everon's favorite t-shirt. The green one with the 33 written on it and with the word bird written on it. Both are hints. The 33 is a hint as this is the 22nd season and we have 11 candidates, and 22 plus 11 is 33. And the word bird is a hint to the Albanian flag, which is also a bird with two heads, and the mole has two faces. This is how they explain it in the MolTalk, and I also think we've talked about that in one of my videos. And one more hint to episode number 1, task number 1. There was that mathematical riddle, and that one was 3 minus 0 is 5, which you could read as 35 or as the 30th of May. And that one is the birth date of Everon, and that one was also figured out by a lot of people. Now off to another episode, and that one is episode number 5, which was called Kettingreaktie, so chain reaction. And in that first task in that episode we had that game where some candidates were on the ground and Sahil and Felicia were in the air throwing those bags to the ground, and they were all on chains and had to free themselves, and everyone didn't free himself, and this is why he started a chain reaction, because he didn't earn money and because he couldn't get free. Hila also couldn't earn any money, and this is why the title of this episode actually was a hint to Everon. And we have a similar thing in episode number 8, which was called Molenvanger. And if you take that word, so the word Molenvanger, that episode title, and you have a look at all the candidates that were left in the game at that moment, then you could form the name Everon out of the letters from Molenvanger. Some letters are again left over with that, but it is the only name of a candidate who was still left in the game you could form with that episode title. Another hidden hint has to do with the jet ski task. You probably remember that everyone was on the boat in the middle of that task and the others all were on jet skis. And after that task, Rick told them that they now gained some more information about the mole in their middle. And yes, this was a hint to everyone being on that boat in the middle of them. And last but not least, the last hidden hint has to do with the carpet task. While Rick explains the task to the candidates, he stands on a carpet, and if you have a closer look on that carpet, then you can see the letters E and H, which are the initials of Everon Hoy. Now, they were all hidden hints explained in the MolTalk, but there's one thing that you probably are interested in, and that is the mask eye hint. And I mean, it is the most discussed hint of the whole season, I think. And of course, there had been questions about it. And Kim Lian was asked about it in the MolTalk as well as in the video by The Telegraph, and she explained it as follows. She said that back then they took several photos of several people with several masks. And then there was one person who had to decide which photo they would take for the live stream. And that person decided to take the one with Kim Lian's eyes because that person thought it was the most beautiful mask. So that person simply liked that one mask the most. That was the explanation to why they used Kim Lian's photo. And in the Telegraph video, there's also mentioned that they also used it for promotions. And yes, of course she couldn't explain that, she's not responsible for it. But yeah, it does appear still a bit weird if you ask me, because if they took so many photos of different people with different masks and eyes, the whole season would have been different if they used just one other photo. So yeah, it's something to discuss about, I think. Not only because it led to a lot of discussions in the fan scene, in the communities, but also because the candidates got to know that during the production. So you probably remember that we talked about that in one of my videos. So we talked about the option that this could have happened, and that if that happened, it could have also have an influence on the whole game. And in the Telegraph video, some candidates were asked whether or not they heard about it, and Thomas said that he heard about it, and Hila also said that she heard about it during the production, that some fans sent her messages telling her that she should watch out for Kim Lian. And she also explained that she thought about it because she shared a room with Kim Lian, but then again didn't believe it because she simply trusted her. But yeah, as you see, it could have had an influence. It probably had, we don't know. A risky thing to do by the production, at least, I would say. Now that was the last Hints and Theories video to season 22. I will turn off the lights in a minute, but before that I want to say thank you to all of you for your views, your likes, your comments especially. I loved reading your hints, your theories, your ideas. This year was supposed to be an experiment. I didn't know if anyone would watch those videos and if anyone would be interested in sharing hints, theories and ideas in English and discuss about them. But it turned out to be so interesting and so much fun, and I've enjoyed doing these videos here more and more with each week. And it turned out that we started to become an international community, I think, and I enjoy that so much, and I really hope that we can continue that the next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching out for modes if you have the chance to. Bye bye, doei doei, tschüss.